So we're all good to go.
Thank you very much.
We're good.
Everything okay on that side?
Yes.
Thank you, Vanessa. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. We will call to order the regular meeting of Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, August 15, 2023. We welcome everybody who is with us today. We would ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, if you kindly put it on silent or vibrate. We appreciate that courtesy. We always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we would ask you to remain standing, and we'll have a brief moment of silence. Commissioner Spillvogel, would you lead us in the
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Spillvogel. Here. Commissioner Beer.
Present.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here, we have a quorum. We, during the course of our public meeting, we always set aside time for public comments. We do this just a few moments, and then we also do it prior to adjourning the meeting. You're welcome to make a comment both times or one of the two times, or if you're just here to observe, that's equally fine. We ask that your comments be related to county government matters. If you have a state-related issue, we suggest you contact your state officials. If it's a federal matter, likewise, you contact your federal folks. And if it's a local municipal matter, whether it be a city, a borough, or township, we suggest you go to those folks. But if your concerns or comments relate to county government, obviously you're in the right place. And the only other thing we would request respectfully is that if you can limit your comments to about 5 minutes or so, out of respect for everybody's schedules. So we appreciate that very much. And I hope everybody has an agenda. Everybody was able to get an agenda. Good, thank you. We always set aside time for row officer reports or comments, but today none of our row officers are with us. They're not required to be here, but we do set aside time in case any of them happen to join us. We move to public comments. If you do have a comment, would you please be kind enough so that we can enter it into the record, if you'd be kind enough to state your name. So I'll open the floor if someone has a public comment or question at this time. Yes, sir.
My name is Carl Bromley. I'm 100% owner of an existing business, 16 years old. I have 2 startups in progress, and I have listened to the Jay Garney video on YouTube, very illuminating, and I'm hoping the EDC can make good progress with that. After that, I went out to the Shenango Commerce Park, which on Google Maps is Shenango Industrial Park. I think name consistency is important. I wasn't able to find Millennium Technology Park on Google Maps at all. And I have expertise somewhat in those matters, been able to effect some meaningful changes, including one in Elwood City, where GPS took people driving directions through a street that doesn't exist. So, but I'm here to do whatever good I can do for the community and for the county. I had a conversation with Commissioner Burrick last week about some of the things that I've been doing. And Commissioner Spillvogel, thank you. I understand you're in charge of the EDC, or liaising with them. So we will be talking more, I hope. And if I ever see you hiding when I come, I'll know that I overdid it a little bit.
I don't hide. No, you'll always see me coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And you are correct. The Economic Development Corporation is a private nonprofit entity. We do provide some funding to that agency, and Commissioner Spillvogel does sit on their board of directors. So we thank you. I know you and I have talked on the phone, and appreciate you joining us today very much. Other public comments or questions at this time? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is EJ Fike. I am the Community Affairs Manager for Firefly Solar. Work for Vesper Energy. We're trying to develop a solar project out in North Beaver Township, as I'm sure some of you are aware. Really, I just wanted to come and let you know that we just signed a community benefit agreement with the Mohawk School District. We've committed to give them $10 million over the life of our project. No strings attached. This is just our way of kind of investing in the community and ensuring that people other than our company and the landowners are getting something back from this project. Also wanted to just come, and I know you've been given this before, but just propose our community benefit agreement with the county, which would also deliver $10 million, no strings attached to the county, just for being the host county of our project. And then in addition to that, I had also sent over an email and left a couple messages about a Gaucho solar tour we're going to be hosting tomorrow. This is a project that we just completed with the University of Pittsburgh. It's about 40 minutes south, right next to the Pittsburgh airport, but it could give you a good idea of what a completed project looks, sounds like, smells like, all those things that kind of have big questions and everything. And so just really wanted to come and make sure you were aware of this, and really hopefully sit down and maybe talk to you about, the potential of bringing this $300 million economic investment to Lawrence County.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Other public comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name's Wayne Randall, 17-year veteran. I've been working the last 13 years on the Farrell Playground project. Actually, I started when I was 32. I just turned 62 last month. So then you could do the math there. But I know Lawrence County got a nice chunk of money given to them. This is where I'm at right now. I'm working with Brian Heichel. I've been working with Brian Heichel for the last 13 years on this playground up there. I've taken thousands of dollars out of my own pocket. Physically, you might as well say I'm the muscle. I've physically taken my own lawnmower to help maintain the place, take care of the place. This is where I'm at right now. Harry W. Lockley, the Learning Center, they have 600 to 650 children at that school. The city or the county has it on paper now that's actually an evacuation area. And this past fall, they had a fire drill to take all them kids over there. There's a daycare, and she was supposed to be here, the niece of the owner. It's called from Blessings from Above, that daycare that's right there. They have every day anywhere from 30 to 75 kids. I was shocked myself. Anyhow, the bottom line is, with some of that money that you got, I know the county got like 10 million in one chunk and another 6 million here. I'd like to see if the county can help me out, because as far as we need more equipment there, okay? And I know Chris Fry put in a, what do you call that? For a grant for like 150,000 for the one park. The ballparks, down by, what do they call it? Deshaun, for that. But anyhow, what I was hoping maybe somewhere you could reach down and into your hearts and pull out a charitable donation. I understand the government gave it to Lawrence County, so I'd like to see some of that money, because we definitely need more equipment. And like I said, that daycare is using that playground. There was a water fountain there, believe it or not, when I was a kid and I played there. The city turned around 13 years ago. Like I said, I started, if you check your records, when Russo was mayor. That's how long ago I started. Okay. And it was due to one of the neighbors literally cut the hoops down, and I caught him. And I think everybody in this room knows, when you go to play basketball or whatnot, you might do a whole lot of things, but you never cut your own hoops down. So I retaliated, and that's where I've been ever since. So that's the reason of me being here. From what I was told, the city is on the front of this building is the city, and that's the county. And that Farrell Playground's right on top of the hill. And if you go, happen to go by there, you'll see American flags all over the place. And as you can see, my wife says, is that the, no, that's what I am. You know what I mean? So with that, I need help. And I think it's time. I've been at it, like I said, 13 years, the second time. I started, I was 32. And like I said, you could check all your records. And another thing, Farrell Playground up here is the only playground in the whole city that has its own separate bank account. You can check, talk to Brian Heichel, check and see, because I had it set up. I had a little fundraiser, what do you call, Chinese auction a couple years ago. I got out of my own pocket again. I got a band. We raised $1,000. I didn't think that was too bad for only 80 people showing up to raise $1,000. And there's still, at this time, like $616. That's a drop in a bucket, you know. But I mean, equipment's not cheap. But we just need more equipment, sliding boards, more swings. There's 4 swings there now for little taller kids, a baby swing. But the insurance, they took stuff out of there should have never been taken out in the first place. And with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your joining us. Other public comment? Thank you. Once again, we'll, before we adjourn, we'll open the floor up again for public comment. Under fiscal and contractual, I should remind everyone that last week, my colleagues and I were in Erie County for the annual statewide county commissioners conference. So accordingly, there was no commissioners meeting last week. And as a result, we have a lengthy list of warrant registers. These are the documents that the controller's office prints out listing the various payments that have been made by the county. They are dated July 31, August 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, and 10. They are in our packets. They are available if anybody would wish to see them. And I'll give my colleagues a moment or two to look them over. And when one of you would be ready, I could take a motion to accept these documents.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. I hope you'll indulge me a minute. I didn't have a chance to look these over. You'll just give me another second. Thank you again. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or concerns about the warrant registers? I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Also in our packet, we have the minutes of the August 1 Commissioners meeting. And again, give folks a little time to look them over. And whenever you're ready, I can take a motion to adopt these minutes.
I will so move.
Thank you. Would you
And I
like-
also, thank you if you would
Yeah, you
second
were
that. I
in,
would.
you were at a meeting in Pittsburgh, I believe that.
Yes, I
day.
was.
Okay, certainly. No,
Thank
I'll gladly second Mr. Burek's motion. Any concerns about the minutes, Brian?
No.
Okay, hearing none, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes as submitted. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Under written communications, we are in receipt of 2 documents The first is from HF Lens Engineering of Johnstown, Pennsylvania. The subject being the Newcastle Area School District, Newcastle School District softball field located in the city of Newcastle. This is the county government's notification. And this is a notification of a permit review for facilities and infrastructure pertaining to DEP's land use policy. Newcastle Area School District is proposing to construct a new synthetic turf softball field with a backstop, fencing, bleachers, and scoreboard. They also plan to construct a 500 square foot building to house restrooms, a concession stand, and a press box located on Euclid Avenue in the city of Newcastle. The proposed work will involve clearing, grading, construction of a stormwater management facility. And it is signed by Zachary Denk, civil engineer of HF Lens Engineering. I should note that commissioners play no direct role in this matter. The law requires that documents such as this be sent to us so that we have a record of receipt. But again, this is a matter between the Newcastle School District and the Department of Environmental Protection. And it's been brought to our attention by the engineers. Our role is to simply acknowledge receipt and enter it into the record. The second document is also a notification from DEP out of their, assuming this is coming from their Meadville office, DEP's Meadville office. This is, the applicant is Columbia Gas out of their Bridgeville office, and their project includes replacing gas line with plastic medium density pipe. There will be a small meter station and gravel pad to be installed. The location of this project is going to take place in Union Township, Taylor Township, and the city of Newcastle. So we'll also enter this matter into the record. May I have a motion that we do that with both these documents?
So moved.
Second, okay.
Mr. Spielvogel moved, Mr. Burek seconded, all at the same time. And do either of you have any questions?
No questions, no.
Thank you both. We'll do a roll call then to accept these.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. One thing I neglected to mention at the beginning of the meeting, when we conclude here today, the Lawrence County Retirement Board will be convening here. It's a public meeting. We meet on a quarterly basis. State law requires that every county have a retirement board that consists of 3 commissioners, the county controller and the county treasurer. And we have oversight of the county's pension plan. Our county investment advisor, Sarah Wilson, who I believe now is from Westmoreland County, if I'm not mistaken. She will be here to provide us an update on the county's pension plan. So for any of you who wish to stay, it is a public meeting. So forgive me for not mentioning that sooner. Well, we have commissioner reports and comments. Mr. Burek, you get to go first today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to be as brief as I can, but several things I need to cover. First, Mr. Bromley, good to see you today. I met you through the Downtown Business Association meeting a couple times, and then had a good conversation last week. I look forward to talking to you more outside of today's meeting. Thank you for your offer to work with us on several things to help the county. Mr. Fike, nice to meet you. I did receive an email from you previously. I would like to talk to you outside this meeting. It's my understanding that the project you're proposing would require local township supervisor approval. So I am always willing to look at various projects that might benefit the county, but I'd like to talk to you more outside the meeting. You're available. I'm unavailable right after this meeting. As Commissioner Vogler said, we do have a retirement board meeting we have to participate in right after this meeting. And then Mr. Randall, thank you for being here today. I do want to get more information from you. The property of the playground, is that city-owned or school district-owned?
No, that's city-owned.
City-owned, okay.
They were going to close it down 13 years ago. Mastrangelo was still the mayor then. They were going to shut it down, and I fought him. I went to council and I said, no, you can't do it because actually, right now with Dawn Services and the whole Upper East Side, that's the only playground we have.
I'd be interested in talking to you and the city more and sure if there's something we could do to help down the road.
Sure, I hope so.
But thank you. The three other things I want to mention today. First, I wanted to make the public aware. Stavish Bike Trail in Union Township, which runs to the Ohio line and continues into Lowellville, Ohio. I'm a frequent user of that, and I know many residents and visitors of the county also use that. Unfortunately, this past Saturday, we had a storm system move through Lawrence County, and our planning office let us know this morning, and they've already been out to the site, marked it off. There was some substantial subsidence and some damage. I do have pictures here if anybody wants to see them, but the damage, the county is aware of the damage. Just wanted to let the public know the trail is still open, but if you use that trail, please use caution, and we're working with our county engineer to get estimates on what needs done to repair the trail. But just wanted to make note of that and thank our planning staff for going out, at least marking it off with caution tape so no one gets injured on that site. We hope to get it fixed as soon as possible, but we were waiting on more information from our county engineers. I plan to ride that trail on my bike a few more times before the weather gets cold, so we want to get it fixed as soon as possible for the benefit of all Lawrence County residents and visitors. Last time I was on the trail, I met a gentleman there. He was from about an hour away in Ohio, but he came over to ride that trail. And it does draw people in from outside the county as well as benefit our own residents. The second thing I wanted to mention this morning, of course, is the Lawrence County Fair. It opened yesterday. The commissioners were there for the ribbon cutting, and the county fair out in on Route 108 in Hickory Township and Scott Township. It's open from now on through Saturday evening. So I encourage all Lawrence County residents and neighboring counties to come visit and enjoy the many great things, the animals, the plant and vegetable exhibits, I know there's a lot of shows and activities going on. It's amazing. I looked at the list of activities. It's on their Lawrence County Fair website, but there's a lot of great things to see and do and a lot of good food to eat. I had to start yesterday and I sampled a few of the vendors' fairs, but I'll be back out there before the end of the week, and I encourage everybody to support and visit the county fair. Last but not least, Mr. Chairman, I want to give a real brief update if I could. As you mentioned, last week was the annual County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania Conference. People wonder why we participate in that. There's many, many benefits to the county for the commissioners attending those meetings. I'd like to give a real brief overview. The first day, I attended committee meetings of both the Elections Reform Committee meeting as the chair of the County Election Board. It's good to know what legislation is going on and what the state is doing as far as our election systems. I also then attended a Courts and Corrections meeting chaired by Commissioner Spielvogel. It was very interesting to talk to commissioners around the state about the issues we're dealing with there. At the opening ceremony on Monday, there were several very interesting speakers. One was Brandon Carson. He's the new executive director of the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority. And as most people know, Pennsylvania received almost $1.2 billion in federal funds this year, and that's to be used to help expand what we've been talking about with the Link Up Lawrence County under Amy and the planning office's efforts. But there's still many parts of Pennsylvania that are unserved or underserved by high-speed internet, and that's a high priority of the current federal administration and the current state administration and here in the county. We all saw what happened when COVID hit. Many children stayed home from school and had to learn remotely. Many people now use telehealth to visit the doctor when you're sick, rather than go in the office, do it through telemedicine. Business and industry, schools, everybody needs access to high-speed internet. And we're working with our consultant, Michael Baker International, and we hope to work with there's several companies we've been in communication with to expand internet coverage in parts of the county that are unserved or underserved. So that was a very interesting and informative speaker. Next, we had several breakout sessions. I attended a couple that were very interesting. One was the 911 reauthorization. Mr. Strobel from the Department of Public Safety is here. That's a very key issue coming up. The current legislation expires in January of 2024. So the commissioners individually and collectively as this County Commissioners Association are working with the state to try to get new legislation to provide a reliable and growing funding stream to keep our 911 centers funded and operational into the future. And unfortunately, we just talked here a couple of meetings ago about the importance of 911, how it's a critical tool to have in our community to save lives. On Tuesday evening at the awards dinner, we had a speech from Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis was there. It was good to see the Lieutenant Governor there. There were several other department heads, secretaries of the state departments. Another breakout session I attended was how data has changed human services decision-making. People don't realize, when you look at our budget and you look at our meetings every week, CYS, Mental Health Developmental Services, Drug and Alcohol Commission, there's so many programs that the county spends tens of millions of dollars a year on. And many times the same clients that are served in one system are also served in the other system. And this particular presentation was by Erie County. They have a software tool where they can actually, their staff and their decision makers in Erie County can actually see which clients are using which services, and that helps them make budgetary decisions and program decisions. And I was very impressed with that tool they have. And I know we work together, our department heads here, but in the future, we'll have to even utilize technology better to coordinate the services that we provide here in the county. And then finally, at the closing general session, we had a speech from Pennsylvania's Secretary of Administration, Secretary of State, Al Schmidt. He ran the elections in Philadelphia County for many years. He's now been appointed by the governor and confirmed by the state Senate. He now oversees the elections office for the state of Pennsylvania. So again, the CCAP conference, very, very informative, very educational. We all networked also, got the chance to talk to commissioners from other counties. You hear what's problems, concerns, issues they're dealing with. You learn how other counties address certain issues. And me, I find it very beneficial to participate in CCAP. And I thank my colleagues for also going and participating. I'm sure they learned a lot and enjoyed the conference as well. So those were my comments this morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. Appreciate it. Commissioner Spielvogel.
Well, ditto everything that Brian said, and most definitely CCAP is vitally important to gathering that information. You know, we as a body have the ability to meet with our senators and representatives and actually voice our concerns. The 911 system is a priority for us to make sure that funding, not just adequate funding, but funding that will be able to make our public safety systems run so much better. And we are definitely in the middle of the fight with that. So I look at you and say that, but we every commissioner, council person that was there, we are all in that same boat. We don't want the minimum amount of money that's being proposed. We actually would like it to the $2 somewhat other range, and willing to meet somewhere in the middle, but we just hope that everybody's aware of that we do fight for that. We fight for things that make our counties better. So yes, agreed with everything that Commissioner Burek said, and it was definitely very, very informative. Very informative. Thank you, the guests that are here. This is a full house but everybody needs to be acknowledged that they're here. Mr. Bromley, thank you. I'm glad you did not get arrested for doing the grass cutting, the weed whacking that needed done. It looks so much better. Thank you. Again, and Mr. Fike also for being here, for continuing to fight to get that project going. As Commissioner Burek said, it's not at a commissioner level for us, but understandable that it is something that could be very, very beneficial. Unfortunately, I know I have a commitment tomorrow that I will not be able to make it to the project, but I would love to have an opportunity to go down and see it. I know we're talking about some different systems for our roof, how maybe a solar roof could work for us, and if it could be beneficial. And just like with the broadband, there are so many things that we, as lay people, we are not aware, but these are the different things that cross our desks every day, from that extreme to the millions of dollars that is being invested, the billion that's being invested in Pennsylvania for broadband, to Farrell Playground. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you, Mr. Randall. Thank you for your service. Thank you for continuing that fight. I agree with Commissioner Burek. I would love to sit down further. I will also say the city received the money as well as the school district. So if there's a possibility for us getting together to apply for a grant. We just talked about,
Local share.
the local show grants from yesterday that we had a staff meeting. So that could be something that I think that we could work collaboratively together because like you said, the students that are there, the daycare that is there. And with your efforts, you know, I believe that there's something that we can do, that we should do, get it all put together. But there's so many different things that come across our desks. I see it, the warden here, you know, there are so many different things. We get the emails from him. We know that we're here to get some contracts approved for different inmate transports to house inmates from other counties that are here, as well as the interest of justice juveniles. You know, we should probably do a day in the life of, or have, you know, different people step in and see if there's an easy day. No, there isn't an easy day. I was on the phone at 7 o'clock this morning speaking to somebody else. At the fair last night, you know, I was there in the evening and there were constituents there that had concerns about different things. So we appreciate people showing up for the meetings and letting us know, because there are so many things that are happening or going on, and we need to be aware of all of them. So thank you for being that squeaky wheel. I say we at Lawrence County have to be the squeaky wheel to get noticed. So do our constituents. So thank you all for being here and participating. It's nicer to have an audience than to stare at empty chairs. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. I just have one question for our planning director, Amy McKinney. Amy, Commissioner Burek referenced the Stavish Bike Trail.
Yes.
To your knowledge, was that damage on the Union Township part of the trail or the Mahoning
Oh, it's
Township?
Union Township.
It's in Union Township.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about, Brian asked me this morning, Rebecca went out yesterday and posted it. We're thinking it's a little bit mile and a half from the trail.
Okay.
She went in through fording, but it's right past the 1 mile marker. So we're, a little over a mile. It's in Union Township.
Okay.
Yep, and we had a resident that lives on the trail, and on it. He gave us a call yesterday and sent the pictures to us, so that's how we knew. And then we went out and posted it.
Well, we appreciate your acting on it so quickly and for clarifying specific locations. So as Mr. Burek mentioned, we hope our bicyclists and walkers and runners and skateboarders or whomever else will all exercise caution when they're out there. Thank you.
Yeah,
very
you're welcome.
much.
And we did post it on our Facebook page too, so that people see that as well, so.
Thanks, Amy. Much appreciated. We'll move on to new business. Our first resolution, you may recall a couple weeks ago, we did make some liquid fuel allocations to municipalities throughout the county. Upon review of the documentation and consultation with, I believe, PennDOT and our county engineer, do I have that right, Vanessa?
This was per the request of the
The
controller.
Controller's Office, thank you, I'm sorry. They've asked us to consider two new resolutions that amend earlier resolutions. The dollar amounts are not changing in terms of allocations to the municipalities, but the record keeping, this is basically a technical amendment for record keeping purposes. I hope I'm stating that correctly. What would this first resolution number be?
273.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 273 would amend resolution 249 that was approved on August 1. And the amended language will read a total of $68,868.69 will be funded with county liquid fuel allocation and or the local use fee fund. Comments or questions from my colleagues? Would either of you wish to make a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Once again, any concerns? Thank you very much. We have a motion for resolution 273. I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. And then proposed resolution 274 is similar, again, based upon the request and recommendation of the Controller's Office. We are amending resolution 248. And the amended language will read as follows. A total of $620,000 will be funded with the county liquid fuels allocation and or the local use fee fund. This is proposed resolution 274. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And I'll see if either of you have any questions or concerns.
No, that's all.
No concerns. Again, just to reiterate, this simply gives us flexibility. We have both the liquid fuels fund and the local use fee fund are available to help pay for local road projects, and this will give us flexibility because if we don't, depending on the balance in our liquid fuels fund, the state can come in and make us do a forced distribution. So
Yes.
this is more, gives us more flexibility to maintain and be able to help municipalities going forward, so.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. One of the things we neglected to do, and it was simply an oversight, we had a listing 2 weeks ago of the various municipalities that had applied for an allocation from us. And I will reiterate that not every municipality submitted an application. They were all communicated with both in writing and by email, but we did not hear from every municipality. But 2 weeks ago, we neglected to include a request that came in from Shenango Township, and it came in a timely manner. We just neglected to include it on the list of the resolution. So this proposed resolution 275 would add Shenango Township. The dollar amount is $21,973.56. And I believe this will address, I'm guessing, for payment on Willowhurst Circle and Ruth Street in Shenango Township. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any concerns or questions? Okay, thank you. We'll ask for a roll call then.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 276. This pertains to the collective bargaining agreement between the county and teams. Like somebody opened a door they should not have opened. If you're wondering what that
Yes.
is, there's a door underneath those steps that says, "Do not open." Well, somebody didn't read the signs. It's not, that is not the fire alarm. I should make that clear. Just somebody opening the wrong door. Proposed resolution 276 pertains to the contract agreement between Lawrence County and Teamsters Local 261. That covers employees directly involved to the function of the courts. And there is a memorandum of understanding regarding this contract. And our resolution then would allow us to execute this memorandum of understanding with the amended appendices regarding Teamsters Local 261. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any comments? Thank you. I do want to thank Mr. Vanasco and Attorney Madore, who handle the negotiations with our various labor unions. Joe, you're comfortable with what we're doing?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions or concerns? We'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. The next two items, and the warden is here. Sir, would you care to have a seat so we can get your comments recorded with the microphone? Warden Wallmeister joins us from the jail. We appreciate your being here. Warden, this would be proposed resolution. We'll start with 277. And I think for those of you who have been covering or attending our meetings or following what we've been doing, the jail has been able to enter into agreements with various counties which allow us to house the resolution states juvenile offenders, but what's the exact term?
Interest of justice.
Interest of justice juvenile
Those are
offenders.
juveniles that are charged as adults.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. And Commissioner Spielvogel chairs the prison board. I should note that state law requires that the prison board in a county consist of the three commissioners, president judge, the county controller, the county sheriff, and the county district attorney. So technically, while the three of us sit on that board, we're a minority of that board. It's a 7-member board. And but Commissioner Spielvogel has been chairing that board for the past number of years. And I'm going to turn this over. I think out of respect for your position, I'll start with you. And then if you'd want to turn it over to the warden to explain this proposed resolution, but if you wish.
I will turn it over to the warden. He handles it. He takes care of it. He set up the contract, so he is definitely an asset to our facility, being proactive in many different things. So please, warden.
Commissioners, as far as this resolution goes, we're looking into entering an agreement with Armstrong County to house their direct file interest of justice juveniles. We currently have the same type of an agreement with Westmoreland, Washington, and Fayette counties. So this would be the 4th county that we would have this agreement with. So I was just looking for an approval to enter into an agreement to house juvenile offenders, direct file interest of justice with Armstrong County.
Thank you for that. And my recollection, and I hope you'll confirm this, is that the other members of the prison board are aware of this proposal.
Yes, Commissioner.
Now, because it's a contract, state law requires that contracts have to be approved and signed by the Board of Commissioners. But just want to enter into the record that the other 4 members of our prison board do have a knowledge of this.
Yes, Commissioner. I send it out to everybody on the
Thank you very much for
also
noting.
to include the solicitor.
Can't forget him. Thank you for noting that. I appreciate that. Thank you for reminding us of the other counties that are with whom we have contracts. And as noted, those counties, as well as Armstrong County, will pay Lawrence County $800 per interest of justice juvenile offender per day to have us house those offenders. This will be a 1-year agreement that will expire on August 2 of 2024 unless sooner terminated. Now, I apologize. Do I need a motion? I think I do. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. And let me see if Commissioner Spielvogel.
No, just that the necessity to house these juveniles is as a result of the facilities that were previously run by the state have since been closed. And so now the counties are faced with where do we place these juveniles? We have decided to address the direct file interest of justice juveniles. We also had discussion on a secure detention facility that I see the warden continuing to give me that stare that tells me that we're not moving forward with that. We've had many discussions on this, and because it is such a necessity, we have space to do certain things because our population is so low in our facility right now. However, we always maintain, and in our conversations that we have had, because yes, we do want to be of assistance to the state as well as the other counties, but we must first and foremost ensure that our facility is run adequately, that we have our staffing, that no one is in danger. And Captain Simmons is here, and he's looking, because he takes care of all of the trainees for our new corrections officers coming in, and we know that there are times that there are many of them that it's an open door and it revolves, and some stay and some leave. So there are a lot of different decision-making processes that go into everything that comes before the Board of Commissioners. So yes, while we have the prison board, there's been discussions with Warden and I, on many different occasions with our solicitor. That's always Dan. From day one, it's like, you check with the controller and our solicitor before, you move forward with doing something. And I 90% of the time, I think I remember to do that. But I know with situations with this that we definitely have to, number one, the warden, because the day-to-day operations and the staffing and the needs. And then number two, the legalities of everything through our solicitor. But, what we're doing now is just a continuation of what we have done in the past with the other contracts, and there will be a need for those individuals to be moved at different times, and I'm sure we will get contracts from other counties for these juveniles as well. So just if that helped with any clarification with anything. Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you. Commissioner Burek.
I support the resolution and thank the warden and his staff for all the work they do on this issue. Two quick questions though, just, number one, do we still, last report was we had 2 of these individuals in our facilities. That's still correct?
Yes, Commissioner. Plus one of our,
Right. 2 from out of county, 1 currently. And then these are all pre-conviction, pre-sentenced individuals, correct?
Correct.
If they're found guilty and sentenced, then where would they be placed? Are they still the state? You came from the state system background. They still send these juvenile offenders to Pine Grove over in Indiana County?
yes, Commissioner.
That's what I thought. Now, it's unfortunately, as Commissioner Spielvogel said, there's this need and we have the space, and I commend our staff for taking this initiative, and I support the resolution.
Thank you very much. Can you refresh at least my memory and maybe some others? Off the top of your head, I don't expect you to have a precise number in your head, but what is our jail's capacity and what is our jail's current population, roughly?
Jail capacity is approximately 290, and this morning we had 133.
Thank you very much, appreciate that. And
And I would have bet money that he would have known that. We have that conversation all the time.
okay, you're used to being asked that question. I'm glad that Captain Simmons is here because, and I don't want to, I'm probably going to catch a cold on this, so forgive me, but it's a good thing. We got a very positive email from Captain Simmons, and maybe I'm letting the cat out of the bag, and maybe you wanted to wait, although I think that email did go to all members of the prison board.
Yes, good.
Would either of you or both of you wish to elaborate on the information you shared with us, if you're so willing?
Ken Simmons.
Yes, we just finished our Title 37, Chapter 95 inspection, state inspection that guarantees that we're in compliance with all the state regulations. We passed with full compliance after a couple of modifications to its policies, minor things like that. And we give credit to all the staff that helped. It's amazing that we've come this far from where we were just a few years ago. So very happy to have passed.
Thank you, Captain. My apologies to you. I caught you cold with this, and out of respect for your position as chair of the prison board, I probably should have told you I was going to ask the question, so I hope you don't mind.
Not at all, not at all, no offense.
It doesn't hurt that it was good news. so.
Absolutely, if it had been bad, I'd have said, how'd you do that?
Exactly. But thank you for,
Debbie's gonna ask all kind of questions now. No, just kidding.
thank you for your understanding.
No problem at all.
Do either of you have any questions relative to the report that we received, the inspection report that we received?
Just that it is good news. Thank you guys again. And they're very humble. Whenever any conversation comes up or happens, it's always that it is a team effort, that everybody pitches in and everyone does what they're supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have proposed resolution 277 before us. It's been moved and seconded. If there are no other questions or concerns, I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. But wait, there's more from the jail. We have proposed resolution 278. This is a proposed contract with the county of Erie. This would be for female prisoners, so I want to differentiate. This is a different definition of a prisoner. These would be for female adult prisoners, am I correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you. To allow the county of Lawrence to house female adult prisoners from the county of Erie at a rate of $50 per day. This agreement will conclude on December 31 of 2023 unless need to conclude any time prior. Warden, do you have any further information on that, on this proposal?
Yes, Commissioner. This Erie County agreement is identical to the one that we have with Washington County and Elk County. So it's the same type of agreement, identical, like I said, that we have with those two other counties. And we do have the bed space to house people in this time.
Now, for the slow guy up here, can you, just so I have it straight, list the counties with whom we have agreements for female adult prisoners?
Right now, we have agreements with Washington County and Elk County.
And we will most likely soon have one with Erie.
Yes, Commissioner.
For the interest of justice, juvenile offenders, can you repeat the counties with whom we have agreements?
Well, now we have agreements with Westmoreland County, Washington County, Fayette County, and today was approved for Armstrong County.
Very good. Thank you for reiterating that. I'll probably ask you again, but.
I'll send you an email.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Burek, on this proposed resolution, do you have any questions for the board?
No, no questions.
Okay, thank you. I neglected to get a motion, I think. May I have a motion for?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you both. And again, no questions, Brian?
I would just reiterate, and correct me if I'm wrong, the county that sends us their females, they pay all transportation costs and all medical costs for those inmates.
Yes, Commissioner.
We just provide the hots and the cots.
Yes, Commissioner.
Look at you.
I did work in a couple of correctional facilities when I was, younger in my career, so. I know a few of the lingo.
Mr.
So
Spillover.
how do I top that? I have nothing to add.
Well, and I'm sure I speak for the three of us and for the other four members of prison board. We appreciate your diligence on this, on both of these issues. It's helping some of our neighboring counties, but it's quite frankly, it's bringing in some revenue for this county. So
Yes.
I would characterize it as a win-win.
Just again, I don't do it alone. I mean, the staff that I have over there are just outstanding, and I can't really say more about it.
Understood. We appreciate that. We also acknowledge that you are the leader of that good group. So thank you. Thank you. May I have a roll call then for proposed resolution 278?
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you're welcome to stay, but we also know you've got a jail to run, so if you have to leave, we understand.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Couple questions. Thank you both.
Proposed resolution 279, I believe our court administrator, Michael Ackerbaum, is with us. Michael, I apologize,
That's okay.
we kept you waiting, all for a lease agreement for a postage machine.
But it's just as important,
That's right.
Yes, it
Right.
is.
right, Heather?
It is.
Just as important as everything else.
Yes, so thank you both for your patience
Thank you.
today. This is proposed resolution 279. This would allow the county to enter into a lease agreement with Pitney Bowes for the postal machines in, this specifically is magisterial district 53-1-01, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Judge Amodi's. Yes,
That's correct.
thank you. So what else do you folks have to?
Well, all I would say is I want to thank Heather Kumo and Vanessa Bayless, because this was a little bit, there was a little bit of an issue with this. These are common because each of the district judges' offices have their own Pitney Bowes postage machines. And the county also has their own. And at one point, it was a question as to whether District Judge Amodi would be under the county, but it was determined that it would be better they have their own because of the way their postage is handled. So basically, this is an agreement just to continue what we've done in the past. And periodically, they update the meter machines, which they're doing at this point, and they already have the money budgeted as it's a common common expense. But I just wanted to thank them because there were some things that they had to try to get together to make it a smooth process. And we're just here to ask that request to have that.
Thank you for that explanation, and this would be a 60-month lease agreement, specifically for magisterial Judge District 53-1-01, which of course is Judge Amodi, whose offices are in the old courthouse. May I have a motion for this proposal?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Mr. Burek, do you have any questions?
I do. I know that postage is gone up, but how much has the lease for the machine itself gone up? Do you know?
I don't think it has gone up.
Or is it,
They're pretty standard.
Yeah.
so they're upgrading the equipment, extending the lease, but the terms are pretty much the same?
Yes, and the length of that term, 60 months, is common.
Yeah, that's what it's always been, 60 months.
No, thank you both, and Vanessa's okay because I know she handles it for the commissioners that post it. So thank you. Yes, you're good. I'm good.
Thank you, Mr. Burek. Commissioner Spielvogel?
Again, just to say that every little thing is important to get done to make the courthouse run. And so this is just as important. So thank you for the work that you guys do to make sure that we can get the mail out to the people that need to receive it.
Thank you.
Very good point, and it reiterates the fact, and I think we touched on it earlier, but the county code does stipulate that any contract with county government does have to be run through the Board of Commissioners, even though this is a court-related matter. The rules are such that we have to give our approval, which I think you're gonna see us do in about 5 seconds. We have a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. It's probably 10 seconds.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you both. Thank you for your
Thank you.
patience.
Absolutely.
It's my
Appreciate your-
first meeting I ever.
Oh, my.
25 years.
Oh, you did well.
I sat there.
Stay awake, Heather. Stay awake. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Our next proposal, number 280, Kathy Kresnar is here from Lawrence County Social Services, please. And I'm glad both you and Amy are here. I apologize if you'll allow me for just a second. I got another email that requires my electronic signature. But this one, and I'm not sure if it's for you or for you, it pops up needing a witness.
That's mine.
Is that yours? So we'll talk later.
We'll talk.
Okay, very good. So one less thing you have to worry about. Thanks to both of you. Kathy, we appreciate your
Thank you.
patience today. Thanks for sitting here for a whole hour. You have a proposal with Lawrence County Social Services for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, also known as ERAP.
Correct.
So we'll turn it over to you, and you can fill us in on, this is proposed resolution 280.
So at this point, the county has the opportunity to amend its contract to include another $500,000 in that emergency rental assistance program. Those are reallocated dollars from other communities, not sure which ones, but people that didn't spend their funds. We would like to enter into that contract to be able to do a couple things. We can still do the emergency rental assistance program. That's what it's called. But the interesting thing that will be an opportunity, hopefully in the next month or so, is once the state hits 75% expenditures across the board, they're allowed to use those emergency rental assistance dollars for what they call other affordable housing development. And it has to pair well with the home dollars, which I'm not an expert on because that's run out of our Healthy Homes Department. But we strategically wanted to make sure that we took advantage of this opportunity just so that those affordable housing dollars don't come often. And we know that we can do some rental assistance if we need it. We have other resources in the county as well to do that. But to have this in place so that when the state hit that 75%, which they expect it to be this summer, so we're hoping we know that soon, that we can turn around and look at some other rehab and different dollars like that, expand affordable housing, which then those dollars will be easily expended in those activities.
Well, I want to thank you. Your explanation, for me, very understandable, which means that they both got it probably 5 minutes before I did. I do want to, if you don't mind, just take me a second. I do want to enter into the record a little bit of language from this proposed resolution. Housing needs have been identified in the local and state consolidated comprehensive plans, and the proposed housing activity addresses this need. The county has conducted the required citizen participation process. The county has granted Lawrence County Social Services to make application for and administrate such funds in the amount of $500,000. And the county will reimburse the Commonwealth for any expenditures found by the Department of Human Services to be ineligible. The county commissioners shall be directed to execute a certificate to the adoption of this resolution and furnish a copy to the Department of Human Services. So that's some of the processes that we have to follow as a result of this proposal. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have questions?
I do not. Thank you for the continued work that your agency does and the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burek.
One comment, one question. As you recall, at our District 2 meeting here a few months ago, some of the other counties, I recall several of the commissioners stating that they turned these funds down or didn't expend these funds because
Yes.
of the compliance issues going on
Yes.
with it. I congratulate and thank Kathy and all the entire staff at Lawrence County Social Services. They handle these programs very well. They know how to document the expenditure of funds and make sure we're in compliance so that we can utilize these funds. So just want to compliment you on that. My only question is, is your agency still getting requests on a regular basis for rental assistance at this time?
Absolutely. Every day, we're taking 15 to 20 new applications for services, and that's across the board, our continuum of rental and housing programs. The challenge right now, and it's not something that can be easily solved, is that during COVID and since, the rental rates have skyrocketed.
Yes.
So the nice thing about ERAP is it's one of the programs that will allow us to pay actual rent, that, whatever the rent is, as long as we can show it's reasonable to the market, we can pay it. A lot of our other resources are tied to fair market rent, which are much lower, and it's actually tying our hands in the ability to pay rental assistance for some individuals, because some of their units are maybe $850 or $800 for a 1-bedroom, and we might be only able to pay around $600. So unless the landlord can lower that rent, we can't pay it, where ERAP will allow us to pay the actual. And hopefully the fair market rents trend and catch up to what the realities are, because it's not a Lawrence County issue, it's
You
systemic.
answered my question.
It's
I was going to say, is that
statewide,
Lawrence
national.
County or Western PA type thing? Thank you
hear
for
it
that
nationally.
clarification.
on audit trainings that everyone is struggling with this at this point.
As well.
Just one follow-up question, please. You both know we heard the Alice presentation
Yes.
at both the Lawrence County United Way a few months ago, and then in Harrisburg at CCAP, the statewide executive director of United Way also gave that, and that was the main thing, that housing costs in general and rents in particular have gone up in the last several years. So many people are squeezed to pay rent. My follow-up question is, do you refer to or coordinate with the Lawrence County Housing Authority at all? And do you look at the individual's budget situation? And because sometimes, as you know, people need help, but sometimes their ongoing income is insufficient to pay fair market rent, and therefore they will need ongoing subsidies. So do you look at their income, and
Yes,
do you refer to and coordinate with the housing authority?
yeah, all of our programs are income-based, so they have to provide their income when they come in, and immediately we do a budget with them to see what's affordable and try to guide them accordingly. Holly Goodwood from
Yes.
Housing Authority was really instrumental in getting ERAP out. A lot of our funding sources won't allow us to pay back rent to the Housing Authority since it's already subsidized, but ERAP would. I had probably 200 or 300 applications we did just with the Housing Authority alone for people that were currently residing there. And then we're always directing them back to subsidized housing options, whether it's through the Housing Authority, privately owned, the senior 55 and older units that are subsidized as well are always a good option as well.
Thank you.
There's not
Glad to hear
enough.
that you are
Yes.
coordinating
Yeah.
with the other agencies. Thank you.
I appreciate your question, and I like your answer.
I commend the
Right.
boards.
Anything else, Mr. Bureau?
That's all.
Okay,
Thank you, Ken.
Kathy, once again, we thank you very
Yes.
much for joining us and your continued hard work. We have a motion on the floor for proposed resolution 280. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much. As we say to our other guests, you're welcome to stay, but if you have to head down the street to work, we understand.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Chad Strobel is with us from our Department of Public Safety. Chad is the Director of the Department of Public Safety. And I have to say, as you're coming up, I was quite surprised that we didn't hear from you Saturday night, considering the storms that came through, and you heard about the damage out at Savage Bike Trail. But I was waiting for my phone to ring, because I think
I got a tornado warning on my
warning,
phone,
yeah.
but there was no confirmed touchdown anywhere in Lawrence County,
Nothing. The only one was down,
Washington.
Washington, yeah. And we had, one pull down with wires
Mhm.
and, one flooded basement. That's
Oh,
It was
okay.
pretty amount of rain.
All right.
On radar, there was one red cell, which is extreme severe weather, and it passed right from Campbell, Ohio, and headed due east and went right over the city of Newcastle. So
As I was in the,
luckily, we did no damage on the North Hill where I
Great.
was. So.
as I was in at the 911 center throughout it, I was pleasantly surprised. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yes.
that bad.
That's good. I bet money that I was gonna hear from.
Yeah, me too.
And I lost a bet. Well, thank you, Chad, for that information. You're here to talk about a proposed agreement with Paul Davis Restoration and Remodeling. They're based in Beaver County. And we did have some damage earlier, I believe, this year to some sections of our public safety building out in Hickory Township. Do you want to fill us in on, maybe remind us as what transpired, and then a little bit about this proposed contract with Paul Davis Restoration?
Yeah, this past Christmas Eve, 2022, one of our sprinkler pipes pumped. Sprinkler pipe burst.
And forgive me, that's right, that was during that real cold snap,
Yes.
wasn't it? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, it was very cold.
Yep.
About 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I got a call that there was water flowing in the building. We found that one of our rooms pipe burst, and thankfully it was mostly contained to that room until I opened the door and let it out when I found it. But it took about 15 minutes to get the line shut down. It was enough to damage the main room that it was in, the flex conference room, a small training conference room, our main 32-person training room, the foyer area, our administrative assistant's office, the hallways leading around the kitchen, and some down into the emergency operations center, the Wall Emergency Operations Center. So there's three of us, myself, our fire and hazmat guy, and one of our former employees, Jason Dodger, came in and worked about 3 in the morning trying to get it contained. Contacted Paul Davis. They did the first phase, which was drying everything out. I believe we've paid for that. We're reimbursed by insurance. The second phase was tearing everything out that was damaged. That's been completed, and this will be the third and hopefully final phase to repairing the damage, is actually installing the new drywall, the molding, paint, and everything else. So this will be the final phase of repairing the building.
P Corp would be our.
Yeah, it's a
approved
insurance claim.
Great, that's good to know. And I think you stated it, fortunately, that evening, it did not directly affect the dispatchers working in the 911 area directly.
Correct. Aside from the noise from the fire alarm going,
Yeah.
they were dry and warm.
That's,
So-
thank goodness for that. Well, let me see if Commissioner Burek has questions for you, Chad.
3 questions.
Yes.
One, will this total cost for the final phase be reimbursed from insurance claim?
Yes, the entire claim.
Number 2, what's the time frame to get the work completed? Did they give you an estimate how long it'll take?
Once payment is, it's set up in multiple tiers. To schedule, we have to pay 30%. They said once we schedule, it'll be up 2 or 3 weeks lead time. Then once they actually showed up, it would probably be, again, 2 to 3 weeks to complete the work.
4 to 6 weeks.
Still looking at another 2 months or so to get everything finished.
Ties into what we discussed yesterday. I'm going to be calling you. We want to set up a legislator tour of your facility because the state legislature has to vote on the 911 reauthorization. So that was one of the recommendations at the CCAT conference. We get our state legislator delegation and tour a 911 center and explain the importance of that funding stream. And then just third question, I assume the answer is, I hope the answer is yes. After that happened, did you insulate all the pipes or ensure there's heat to all the pipes so in future cold spells we don't ever have another incident like that? Or
Yes, we got additional heaters to standby heaters kind of to take care of it. The initial issue was that we had a failure in the HVAC system that we were working through. We had to wait for a part to fix the heating system, but it was coming from Russia and the way the shipping, and once they finally got it in, it had caused another issue that they had to repair both. And it took about 4 months to actually get the part in and get it installed and fix the heating system. So, the heating system working properly would never have happened, however.
So there was multiple issues that led to that, right, and it was
Right.
extremely cold, but once or twice a year, we do get that below zero spell, and I just wanna make sure that we're prepared.
Yeah, in the future, we have additional heaters we can put in the building, top a couple ceiling tiles and let the heat flow a little better, so we got stocked up for the next time.
You answered all three of my questions, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel,
I'm fine, thank you.
I'll move for the adoption of resolution 281.
is there a second?
Is that 281? Oh, yes, 281. So moved.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Björk?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Chad, we, as always, we thank you, and I'm sure you have to move along. You are welcome to stay.
Oh, I appreciate it. Boss is gonna start yelling at me pretty soon. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chad, for everything.
Have a great day.
You take care. We have Amy McKinney from our planning director, and we're always pleased to have you here. Amy, it has been reported that the county was recently added by the Federal Office of Management and Budget into the Pittsburgh Metropolitan Statistical Area, MSA. And even though I don't know if they're obligated or required to notify us, we were never really, unless you got something.
Yeah, we have not received anything.
No, we've had no formal notification, but I assume you look upon this as a positive thing.
Yeah. SPC hasn't even received anything either. I've had some conversations with their staff
Okay.
to see if they've heard anything, and it will not put us into their local, you and I talked about this last week, Dan. One of the things what could happen is we could go into SPC local development district,
Right.
but that actually has to be an act of legislation. So, but this is, the MSA, I mean, OMB came up with it. I'm not even sure how they, decided what they take into account. They do look at the census data that, have been collected. That's a good thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. Brings us more opportunities for additional, data. Shows that we're linked into the Pittsburgh area socially and economically. One of the reporters I talked to from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, I think it was, he mentioned that it's also one of the things is the commuter rate from Lawrence County into, Allegheny County area has increased, showing that, people they wanna work in the city, but they wanna live someplace a little bit more rural, not as busy. It's, definitely a good thing though. Hopefully it'll make for, better regional applications. It's not something that automatically will give us more funding automatically, but, the Build Back Better application.
Absolutely.
Now that we're like,
Yes.
now Lawrence
Now
County
we're
is
really part of
now
it.
really a part of
Yes.
it, yeah. Last time this happened though in our area was in 2003, and that was Armstrong County. So, yeah, so this is kind of new to me, and I know being,
Yes.
being here and belong as the commissioner, it happened right after you came into office with Armstrong County, so. It was a bigger deal back there, they said, it was a bigger deal back then because Armstrong County, I think at the time, that's when they came up with the micropolitan, in which the city of Newcastle was. And I think just recently, the city of Hermitage has now been designated as that when we became the metropolitan MSA for the region, so. Andy Lapel from SPC said he would definitely keep me in the loop if he heard anything. And all the reporters I've talked to said that they would do the same thing too. It really is something new for the region for this to happen. And I know Debbie, she tried to call somebody at OMB to talk with them, but there's no number. There's no number for her to contact anyone. So it's, like I said, it's a learning experience. We're still trying to figure it out, but.
But a positive thing.
Definitely
A positive thing nonetheless.
But I don't know if we ever will get an official word from anybody from the OMB, so.
Thank you for
Sure.
looking into it and apprising us of it. We appreciate it. But you're here today to talk about designating Rebecca Schaefer from your staff as the Section 504 officer as it relates to DCED's Community Development Block Grant Program. You just want to give us a little overview and, what does this entail for Becky and
Yeah, really,
for Rebecca?
we're required by law, receive funding through the federal government, our CDBG program, we report to DCD, but DCD is a direct entitlement from HUD. So since we receive federal funds, we need to designate someone every year annually as the Section 504 officer and fair housing officer. You'll see the fair housing officer resolution next week. But we, as the county, designate Rebecca as that Section 504 officer so that if anybody feels that they're discriminated in any way from participating in any federally funded activity because of having a disability, Rebecca would be the one that they would call to express their concern, and then we would have to direct them how to handle that and go from there. And since we've never received a phone call, anybody complaining, so that's a good thing. It means we're doing our job, so all of us are, so.
That's good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have any questions for any?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Buick,
No questions.
I'm assuming this will not catch Rebecca by surprise.
That should have been a question to
Right, yeah,
you know?
and the OBOs all appoint her as their Section 504 officer.
Very good, thank you. This is proposed resolution 282. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Comments or questions? Thank you. Hearing none, Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you, Vanessa. Amy, as always, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it.
And as the room clears.
We have Mike and John from Children and Youth Services.
Let's keep getting longer every week.
I know, I think they're really trying us here.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate your patience today, and these, let me, we're not gonna go through this like lightning, but we're still gonna go through it as quickly as we can. My first question would be, are any of these new contracts?
Yes.
Okay. How about if we do the renewals first, if you don't mind? How about, if you don't mind, and we've been provided by the staff, these are excellent,
Excellent.
a summary of each contracted,
And the first 7 should be renewal.
I'm sorry?
The first 7
First
should
7.
have renewal. If you look at the
Yes, they
second-
do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna go down each one, and should Loretta or Brian have any questions, just flag me. The first resolution would be number 283, and in our order of our agenda, the first organization is Concern, Professional Services for Children, Youth, and Families out of Berks County. It's a renewal. Anything else we need to know about it?
No, Commissioner.
Unless, again, questions from either of my colleagues. If I start going too fast, just slow me down, or vice versa.
The only question I have, if any of the renewal rates go up more than 4%, just let us know. Anything from 0 to 4%, I'm good with. Anything above that, just let us know why the cost went up higher than average.
So this provider has a higher than 4%. On the rate sheet, their range is from 1% based off of the program certification up to 8%. We try to negotiate with all providers. We do not set the 4E rate. So the providers submit a 4E packet to the state. My understanding is the state works with the federal government, and then they come back to us with the 4E rate, which establishes the ceiling. And so frankly, the county and the county agency are already at a disadvantage when we begin the negotiation process, because the state has already said to the provider, here's the maximum rate that you can be awarded. And what we try to do is to negotiate with that provider so that they will stay interested, but at times still come below the rate that the state has set for them. And so with this provider, we have 1 youth that's currently placed there. We had none last year. And so whenever we have kids in those facilities, the negotiation is even more challenging.
We don't have much leverage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that. I understand.
Thank you both. Proposed resolution 284, it's a contract renewal with Diversified Treatment Alternative Centers out of Northumberland County. Anything, particularly as it pertains to Mr. Burek's question? Over 4% to your knowledge?
This provider, yes, this provider is above 4%. We did not use them last year. We are contracting with them because we have one child that we may need to use them for. And in particular, it's because of the case has sexually maladaptive behavior, and they're a provider that is willing to take youth with that need.
Questions on proposed resolution 284?
Again, no question. Just, again, like Commissioner Spielvogel said, state used to have a facility somewhere, oh, that's right, here in Lawrence County, in Shenango Township, that had a sex offenders unit,
Right.
but they closed that down, so now the county has to find a private placement and. So, anyhow.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 285, family pathways of Butler County. Give John a second. Anything we need to know about this one?
This provider's rates, their rate increases by percentage are above the 4%. Last year we had 12, this year we have 5. So again, from a negotiation perspective, we're currently at 5 of our kids. The program that we use the most, it's a 5% increase.
Other questions for Mr. Bout? Thank you. Proposed resolution 286, family services of Northwest Pennsylvania based in Erie County. John?
No, last year we had 1, this year we have none. We have none, so we were able to keep their rate at a 1 or 2% increase.
Thank you. Questions on that proposal? Thank you. Number 287 is Pathways Adolescent Center in Venango County.
Pathways is a dual program. JPO primarily uses this program. Last year, JPO had 16, CYS had 5. Right now, JPO has 11, CYS has 5. These rate increases range between 9 and 16%. Last year, we did try to hold our line with this provider. They pointed out that they had gone several years without a rate increase and presented a take it or leave it scenario for us. I will say that when I look at their rates for the service that they provide, they are consistent to low side of this category type.
Any questions on Pathways?
Thanks for that explanation.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 288 is the Bear Foundation based in Lawrence County.
The Bear Foundation right now has the largest number of children placed through them of any agency we have. They average 35 to 40 of our children. We were able to keep their rate increase for the services that we primarily use to 2 to 3%. So the Bear Foundation worked with us on their rates.
Any questions for John on that one?
No.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 289 is Terry O'Hara, PhD, based in Allegheny County. This is a renewal.
This is a renewal for Dr. O'Hara. Dr. O'Hara comes to our office. He also will travel and go to homes. Last year and this year we come before the board to renew this contract. He does parental assessments, bonding assessments that we use for a variety of reasons, one of which is for to determine termination or not of parental rights. But we do use him in other regards as well.
Questions? Thank you. Hearing none. This next one is a new contract, a proposed new contract, 290 with an organization known as A Collective Consulting LLC out of Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
This is a new provider, so we have no rate history with them. We have one child that we've submitted a referral to this provider along with others that we're very limited on options. So this may be a provider that we never need, but we continue to expand our network to avoid having to have children either at the Elmira building or housed in a local hotel.
Questions for Mr. Bout? Hearing none, thank you. Proposed resolution 291 is the Bethany Home Inc. in Berks County, Pennsylvania. This is a new contract.
This is the same as the last description. We had no history with them last year. We have made referrals to them. They have been open to accepting referrals and consider children that I would say have complex needs. So we may not need them, but again, we're looking to expand our network in the event that we do.
Thank you, John. Brian or Loretta, any questions?
No.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 292, I hope I pronounced this right, Shore Youth and Family Services, Inc. of Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Same commissioner, this is to expand our network, and we have submitted a referral to them. They have been willing to at least consider children with sexually maladaptive behavior.
Thanks, John. Questions for Mr. Bob?
No.
Hearing none, thank you. Proposed resolution 293 is Hoffman Homes, Inc., based in Adams County, and this is a new proposed contract.
This is to expand our network and have the possibility of referring to Hoffman that has a specialty with psychiatric care of children in the event that we need them. We've had one case where we have submitted a referral to them, but to date, we have not placed anybody at this facility.
Thank you, John. Questions for Mr. Bound? No, thank you. And then finally, proposed resolution 294, Lifespan Family Services of Pennsylvania, based in Jefferson County, Pennsylvania.
Lifespan is to expand our network, whatever we have, again, complex or cases that we're struggling to find a local bed for a legacy program that we typically use. I will say, and we've talked about this, we do continue to see more and more complex cases. And the trend with providers is that if children don't have a discharge plan from day one, they're not interested in accepting it. And the older youth with mental illness, low cognitive ability, children that are on the autism spectrum, these children they're just harder and harder to find a home for. So Mr. Grippo and I and our staff, we continue to come before you really just to try to strengthen our network in the event that we need a provider. And like most businesses where we don't know what's coming next hour, let alone tomorrow or the next day. So this is some preventative on our part for those worst case scenarios.
Thank you, John, for that information. If my colleagues don't object, I could entertain a motion for us to consider collectively proposed resolutions 283 up through and including 294.
So moved.
Thank you both, Loretta and Brian. Are there any final concerns or questions for either Mr. Bound or Mr. Griffin? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Gentlemen, we thank you both.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We appreciate your
Yes.
patience today.
Yeah, next week.
Okay. Thanks for the warning.
Thank you.
I used to call my
Sir, thank you
barber
for
and
your
say, I'm coming down for a haircut. He would always say, thanks for the warning. The next proposed resolution is number 295. This is a proposed budget amendment, and if I'm not, this ties in with what Kathy is here to talk about today. This is a budget amendment that increases the line item known as Emergency Rental Assistance Program, MHDS Revenue Fund, increasing that by $500,000, and then also utilizing those dollars to increase the line item of Homeless Programming MHDS Expenditure Fund. It's noted on the back for ERAP funding, Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Is there a motion for this proposal?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you both. Do either of you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Proposed Resolution 296 is also a budget amendment. And what we're looking at doing here is first, a transfer. These are all in the amount of $13,000. We're transferring from the DEA TFO General Revenue Fund account, taking that $13,000, placing it into the district attorney's overtime general expense fund account, same dollar amount. And then, if I'm reading this correctly, taking $13,000 from the prior year balance of DEA TFO Revenue Fund account, transferring that amount into the general fund DEA TFO expense fund account. The reason for all of this is overtime in the district attorney's office. Did I cover that correctly to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, you got it perfect.
Thank you, sir. Do either of my colleagues have any questions? Brian?
No.
No? May I have a motion for Resolution 296?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. If there are no other concerns, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Under transfer requests, I'll read through these. Stop me if you have questions. How's that sound? And then if you're
Sounds
both
good.
willing, if we get through them all, we can take them as a group. But please stop me as I go through. The courts are asking for a $300 transfer from their contingency into that of uniforms. The next one, the Human Resources Department is asking for an $85 transfer from their contingency into their maintenance and repairs line item. Third, the Sheriff's Office is asking for a $2,000 transfer from their materials and supplies line item into that of training and travel. Next, the Assessor's Office is asking for $1,200 out of their contingency into that of their postage line item. I should note, we did have an unanticipated, one of you talked about it earlier today, an unanticipated postage increase. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more of
Right.
these. Next, Central Court is asking for a $716 transfer from their contingency into their line item of materials and supplies. Central Court is also asking for a $250 transfer from their travel line item into maintenance. This is for specifically maintenance for their copier. The commissioner's contingency, we're asking that $500 come out of the commissioner's contingency into the line item of tax refund. And this request was made of us by the controller's office. The next one is from the district attorney's office. The total amount of the transfer is $2,159.84. All of this is coming from their contingency line item. $1,500 is going into witness fees. $659.84 is going into association dues. District Judge Amodi is asking for a $100 transfer from her contingency into that of material maintenance and repairs. Did I say that right? Maintenance and repair. Thank you. And then finally, our county coroner, excuse me, he's asking for a $3,500 transfer from his contingency into that of Act 182 travel and training line item. Neither of you stopped me, so I'm assuming you have a comfort level with these, and if so, may I have a motion then to approve these requests?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. I'm assuming that for the time being, we'll move forward on the one that's on the table. A couple of announcements. The Board of Commissioners will meet a week from today, August 22 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's a public meeting. As we noted earlier, the Retirement Board will convene shortly, probably within the next 5 minutes. Although I haven't seen Sarah out there, have you?
No.
I hope she's here. But we're required to meet because we advertise it.
Yes.
So the Retirement Board will meet in approximately 5 minutes. And as we will also note that, at least as of right now, no.
No, we will not have a prison board meeting. I
Thank
checked
you.
with Warden and we do not have business to discuss.
I appreciate your noting that. So please note on the agenda, it does say there will be a prison board meeting tomorrow. There will not be a prison board meeting tomorrow at noon, based upon the announcement of the chair of that board. Thank you, Loretta.
You're welcome.
I'll open the floor for any closing public comments that either of you gentlemen might have.
Very quickly, because I know you have a lot of things to do, I want to thank all the officials for their education. Very well run meeting. Here is a business card that has my phone number on it. Jokingly, I once did a felt marker, a permanent marker on duct tape, took a picture, made a business card out of it. It says, if all else fails, call Carl. So in the bottom margin, slightly right of center is my phone number. Once in a while, I might need an email that says, turn your ringer up on your cell phone. Okay? Every once in a while, I might need a phone call that says, check your email.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Carl.
We do appreciate your joining us today. Other public comments, Mr. Randall?
Okay. My head is standing up. Couple things. First of all, I want to thank everybody up here on the board, because the last time you were doing it by phone,
Okay.
the flag out front looks real nice. We got a new one. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, it
yes,
looks real nice.
Yes.
I made the comment of the city of Newcastle, trying to beautify. I don't know if I think somebody somewhere had something to do about it. When I mentioned about the flagpole on the top of the First National Bank, it looks real nice. I don't know if you've ever paid attention, but anywhere downtown, you look up and it touches me. So there's another one on the top of the town mall. And that's one thing I didn't think I mentioned last time. That's one thing I can't stand to see naked is a flagpole. It just bothers me to no end. That's my problem, I guess. All I could say is I hope to God that you can help me in some way. For some reason, that Lockley School, I understand they have to have somewhere, they have to have an evacuation area. It took 5-6 years to get that on paperwork because they was talking about, and I'm sure you're aware of it, walking them kids down over Croton Hill, Scott Street Hill, and all the way up Croton to the other school. You can't do that. You got all their cars going off the top. I just want to make change for community. Like I told you before, I'm a veteran, 17-year vet. And if you take Pearson Park, they got one hell of a playground there. Union School has another really nice playground. For some reason, and like I said, that daycare there houses about 70 kids per day. For some reason, there was a little conflict between Lockley, Harry W. Lockley Learning Center, and the Blessing from Above daycare. They're neighbors. They're right beside one another. I guess there's something going on because of the parking lot. Now, Lockley School don't allow them to bring their kids on the property and play. On the backside of the school is a little playground. I guess they're not allowed there no more. One other thing I'd like to mention for some reason, throughout the state, all over, everything about this infrastructure. Why haven't we put the dam back at Cascade Park?
That would be a question for city council.
Okay,
That's
well,
city park.
that's where I'm going next, because I want to see why, the dam, talking as far as like funds, is next to none, because the dam we're talking about is no bigger than that counter.
Right.
And I don't know if you're aware of the way it used to be. It was only so wide there, and then all they did is put a board down. And when the water come up, they go over and take a board out and let it flow over. So I have had a couple meetings with our new state rep. Like I said, I want to try to make change, and I'm going to knock on doors. That's why I'm here talking to you people. I'm going to knock on doors, kick in doors if I can, without getting arrested. But Hey, but I just want to make change. I want to do something good for the community.
Absolutely.
And I'm not doing it for me. I'm, you know, how do I want to say? By my heart, I'm doing it, but my baby's 40 years old. But there's all these younger kids and families, and to me, this is not, hey, this is not playing. You got to get out and run around and you get a little exercise, you know. But I did mention, I think I said earlier about you can't take 70 kids over there and have them play.
Yeah.
And I can't emphasize how much you'd need a water fountain, because with all this global warming, these days are 90 degrees out, and these little kids running around playing, you know, they get thirsty. And like I said, there was one there before, and that would be next to nothing in the streets there. I live right beside the place, so I guard it. I'm calling Chad's office, 911 all the time, because every once in a while, you get the older generation that want to come up there with their car and hang out at 10:30 at night. The park closes at dark. So I call them. But with that, I need help. And you can't, the kids need more, we need more stuff. And I've been at it, like I said, the last 13 years. You said you wanted my phone number. I don't have a cell phone, don't own one. That keeps my marriage. Because sometimes I'm out on my scooter and I have to hear, well, how come every time you're out on your bike, you get no reception? What are you doing? So I keep that argument, you know what I mean? But whatever you could do to help me there, because the kids just need more to play. And hey, with that, I approve that message. Wayne Randall.
Thank you, sir. Closing comments from the commissioners. Commissioner Spielvogel?
Fine, thank you. Good meeting. Good meeting.
Yes, please, just a quick response. Just after you came in the spring, we did get right on it, but just so you know, we did get the tree trimmed out there pretty quickly. The reason it took a little while to replace the flag, one of the pulleys at the top was broken, and we had to find a company that could get that's a steep hillside there.
Right.
We had to pay a company good money to bring a lift up there, to get up there. And then we got up there, it was standard flagpole collar comes in 3 inches and 4 inches. And of course, that's a custom size 3.5 inches. But anyway, it took a little while, but we did get the new flag up, and we will maintain that.
Yeah.
We appreciated you bringing
Yeah,
that to our
it
attention.
looks good. I wanted to mention that too, about
Right.
keeping up on the tree so it don't happen again.
Right, we don't want the flag, the tips we're getting, but the tree's been trimmed back, and we'll keep an eye on that as long as they're here. As far as the town malls, that's a private facility. We have no jurisdiction over that, but if I ever run into the owner down there, we will let them know, hey, it'd be nice to, I was pleased to see, and you probably read this, they've gotten several new businesses moved into the town mall recently. So maybe if his rental income comes up, he can spring for a flag, but that's private property, so. But we will have a talk with the city. Again, if it's city property, we have to respect what they want to do, but if they do want to make some improvements to the playground, and they ask, there is some potential, can't guarantee anything, but there's potential grants that we could apply for, or different ways we could look to maybe try to help the city, but we will look into that. But thanks for being here.
One thing I forgot to mention, my number, I said about my phone number, Brian Heupel has it, okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just thank you for being proactive and positive.
Yeah.
Because people come to our meetings sometimes and they're reactive and negative, but you brought problems to us, you brought situations to us, and we were able to address them. So thank you. And thank you for continuing to do
It's like I said, I want to make change. I don't know what,
Yes.
I can't even explain it. My wife was, I don't know. The older I get, I want to do
That's a good
something
thing. No, that's a good thing.
before I check out, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good
And
thing.
I don't, like I said, I'm a veteran. I don't give up. I don't know. I guess I like a good fight, you
By the
know?
way, I think we got that light bulb fixed.
Did you? Yeah.
I'm told it was fixed, so
Okay.
if you
Well, I
see
appreciate that.
if they're not both on, let us know.
I appreciate that. Like I said, my wife tells me that too. You let too many things bother you. Well, I can't help it. That's me.
But if there's little things that can.
Well, when I come down around there, the front of the place,
Sure.
is the maintenance man not changing the light bulb for, you know?
I
But
think
thanks.
it's been corrected.
Thank
I want
you.
to talk to you. I actually have fundraiser ideas for you too.
Okay.
May I have an adjournment motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay.
We are adjourned and we'll be reconvening
Shortly.
retirement board shortly.
I'm
Thank you.
gonna grab my
Thank you.
retirement board stuff. I'll be right
I
back
have to
down.
go get my
Same
stuff
here.
too.
Carl, we'll talk to you sometime soon.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. These are first physical product that came out of what I call Carl's Idea Hatchery.